Our next guest is the most sought-after clairvoyant in the world, and I am so excited to be teaming up with him tomorrow as he launches a groundbreaking new show live from the other side with Tyler Henry. Please welcome my friend, Tyler Henry!
Let's get right to it. This Netflix show is live.
That's
it's
right.
It's live.
Yeah.
Why is it important that it's live?
Well, you know, I saw the impact that readings have had over the decade of work that I've been able to do, but there's something about seeing the process live, unedited, that really makes a difference. There's no safety net. Right. We can't rely on editing, and so it really speaks to the power not only of the readings, but of the process.
Well, you're working with Amanda, who has live television experience. Talk about that.
This is a natural synergy. I absolutely could not have been a better fit. So I'm so thankful. We talk a lot about synchronicities and meaningful coincidences as signs from the other side. And the fact that the show's premiering on Nick's birthday, I think really substantiates that. So.
I told Tyler when we first met that I was taking Elvis to the Kings games a lot last year, and every time we would go, I would pass this huge poster of him because he does his live huge shows at arenas and all over the country, and I would pass this poster, and I always was like, I'm gonna meet him someday, somehow. I know, it was just like this weird intuitiveness, and then here we are.
Meant to be.
Meant to be. Okay, so Tyler, I know this information, but you are going to be doing readings for celebrities, their family, their friends, so celebrities and also just people in need. And just to clarify, you never know who you are reading before you read them.
That's right.
And tell everyone like why that's important to you.
Well, it's a really hard show to promote because they ask, who's the celebrity guests? And I'm like, well, we'll see. And Amanda actually doesn't even know either. So she's not even informed in casting. And for that, you know, I think it's important when I go into a reading to try to minimize bias. I have a very hard time reading myself because I have a horse in my own race, so to speak. But when I read a stranger, you know, I'm able to just kind of connect on a more human-to-human level. So not knowing who I'm reading in advance kind of helps me put any expectation to the side and just kind of go in blank.
Okay, so you can't mention the celebrities from the show because of the live aspect and all that stuff, and it's gonna be a surprise to everybody. That said, have you ever walked into a room and been like, whoa, this person is really famous? Like, have you ever been starstruck?
Oh, over and over and over again. I swear, the first season, I didn't recognize half of the people, but I remember I walked in and Steve-O was sitting there, and Dr. Drew, of all people, facilitated this reading. And I was told that day, you're gonna get your brain scanned while you read Steve-O. So let's see what happens. And I was like, this feels like a fever dream, but it was fascinating and added a little bit of a scientific element.
When you are starstruck, does that affect your reading?
It can, and you know, I think we have, when you talk about celebrities, a public image or a public idea of who that person is, and what I found so lovely about the show is whether I recognize them or not, there was an aspect of connecting to that fundamental human need, which is that we all have the same questions. We all go through loss, and so to be able to take public figures and show such a private, intimate aspect of that is what I hope to achieve with this show as well.
Tyler, one of the things I find so interesting that you do is you ask people to bring an object or something that, you know, means something to them. When you hold that object, what is it that that object helps you to connect with?
You know, I think of the objects as almost like a placeholder. You know, in many ways, it's just a way to kind of focus the energy on who the person hopes to hear from. But we find, you know, that when people pass away, the little things become the big things. Wow. And it's so powerful to see what people bring and what that represents on some level. And it can be very beautiful.
I'm sure
can see what happens as the reading occurs. I have to get information that isn't researchable, isn't guessable, information that oftentimes substantiates that there's a connection, people's last words, inside jokes. And Jerry, you and I actually had an experience, and I think we got some very specific details that weren't out there.
Yes.